So the desiccant dehumidifier in itself is a very simplistic HVAC component when you really think about it. We always describe desiccant dehumidifiers as filters. It's designed to filter out moisture. We have a process inlet duct, which takes air from either outside or from return from your conditioned space through a filter, which is accessed through this access panel right here. And then after the filtering process happens, it goes through the desiccant wheel, which happens right in this compartment right here. And the moisture is removed, and the byproduct of that is sensible heat. So again, if we go in at roughly 75 degrees, we tell people it's a roughly 30 to 40 degree temperature rise, and a 40 to 50 grain differential depending on the inlet conditions. But at that point, the very dry, warm air is pulled into this fan and discharged back to your conditioned area. And then that moisture gets collected in that desiccant wheel, and just like your kitchen sponge, it's eventually going to get saturated. So what we do is we have a secondary airstream through the reactivation. We call it the reactivation airstream. We take outside air, we go through a filter, we go through the heaters, which I mentioned earlier. That hot air goes through the desiccant wheel. The desiccant wheel releases the moisture that it's captured from the process airstream, and then again it's pulled into a secondary fan, which we call the reactivation fan, and that is discharged outside where it's very warm, extremely humid air gets ducted outside. The filters are very, very critical. We tell people this is essentially a moisture filter, if you want to look at it that way. But if the pre-filters are not changed on a regular basis, the filter maintenance is not adhered to, the desiccant wheel itself will begin to filter other components. And when it does that, it really loses the capacity to be able to remove moisture at that point. So we tell people the number one important feature to do is filter maintenance. Every geographic region has different requirements. The South is terrible in the spring. There's fall requirements in other geographic locations, but filter maintenance is the number one key to longevity for our desiccant wheels.